Hey babes, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a pretty quick, hopefully a quick review of Elix Healing. I've been using it for a couple months and so I wanted to share some of my thoughts with you guys and just share what my experience has been so far. So I'm not going to do too much yapping. I'm really just going to get to the meat of it. Elix reached out to me a couple months ago and asked me to try their product and share my experience. And I did that a little bit over on Instagram, but I really felt like this product actually deserves a full video. So while they did not ask me to do this, I felt like I needed to share a lot more about this product than I'm able to share, like over there on Instagram and TikTok, because there's only so much time. So I'm gonna get right into this. So yes, they did send me this product, guys. I'm just sharing my experience and all that, and these are my thoughts about the product. So, first things first is one of the things that I noticed about Elix and that I really have enjoyed in as part of the experience of using Elix Healing is their, I guess you can call it their onboarding, or how they pretty much prepare you to be able to use the product and get the best results you can. And so for those of you who don't know, Elix Healing is it's a company based on traditional Chinese medicine. So they make herbal blends for different things. I want to say their primary product, or the product that they started with, if I recall correctly, is the Psycho Balance product, and so that's what I'm going to talk mostly about today. They did send me the Psycho Balance and what was this one called? Daily Harmony. And so I've actually been using the Daily Harmony for a couple months too. But for the most part, I'm going to be talking about Psycho Balance in this video. And if you guys do want me to talk about some of their other products, because I have tried the Daily Harmony and I've also tried the ginger aid. I tried that one too. And so I can share more about those in another video, but I really wanted to talk about the Psycho Balance because I feel like that's the more relevant product for those of us with fibroids or who are dealing with hormone imbalances. So with the Psycho Balance, what I really like is there are a lot of teas and tinctures and all that stuff on the market. But one of my concerns about that has always been that with herbs, like everybody should not be taking every herb, right? So one of the things that I appreciate about Elix is that they have you do a assessment or a quiz, if you will, to tell them more about your unique symptoms and what you're experiencing. And so what I find with that is, or what I realized is that they actually send everybody a different blend or a slightly different blend depending on what's going on with your body. So I took my quiz, and they also, during that assessment, they have you send in a photo with your tongue sticking out so they can see your tongue too, because that is actually a part of traditional Chinese medicine. And I know a lot of traditional Chinese medicine remedies and things are trending right now, but I really appreciate that. First of all, Elix Healing has been around for some years now, because I remember seeing it a couple years ago. But what I really like is that they kind of guide you through the process, or guide you through starting the journey with TCM very well. From the emails that they send out when you first, get started, those emails, I highly recommend that you read those. If you're going to use this product, I recommend that you read them, because there is some good information in those emails. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, a little bit later. But there's a lot of really good information about how to use the product, what it's supposed to do, what to expect in those emails. The other part that they do during their onboarding process is you have an actual onboarding call where they have one of their wellness professionals or their doctors available on a call. And so they go through a quick, run through about the product and how to use it. But then also you get to ask questions at the end. And I want to say it's like a 20-minute call. It's not a super long amount of time, but I do recommend signing up for one of those and doing one of those if you are using this product, because again, they they are super helpful, and I feel like they really empower their users to have the best experience possible. So, and also I got me some notes down here because I don't want to leave anything out for you guys. Now, like I said, I've been using this about 3 months. I started out using the the smallest dosage, which is 3 dropperfuls or a half teaspoon, and they actually sent me a little golden spoon that came with this. And so one spoon or one of those is a half a teaspoon. I don't know what I did with my little golden spoon. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. Here is the little spoon that they sent. Very cute. But I use one of these, I started out using just one, but then after I did the onboarding call and kind of read some more, even though I don't necessarily really have fibroid symptoms, I do still have fibroids. And so because of that, they do recommend doubling the dose. So if you're somebody that has fibroids or you're having a lot of symptoms, I suggest going ahead and getting the 3 month supply. And I recommend that just because if you are buying this 1 month at a time, because you're having to double the dose, you're only going to have enough for like a half a month. So I recommend just going ahead and doing the 3 month supply. So that way you'll have enough for about a month and a half, almost 2 months, right? And so then you can decide after that, almost 2 months, whether you want to keep ordering or you want to reorder. But I do recommend doing the 3 month supply if you have fibroids, or if you have worse symptoms, if you're dealing with symptoms, just because you're going to go through the product pretty fast if you're having to use the double dosage, which is a teaspoon of product. So the first month, I kind of just started out using the half teaspoon measurement, but then I went ahead and, like, after a week or two, I went ahead and doubled it. And one thing that I will point out that happened is that I did notice that period that I had after a couple weeks of taking this, it was like the worst period that I've had in years. Now, that is not necessarily a bad thing. And the only reason that I knew this is because they prepared me. I want to say it was in the email, or either, I can't remember if it was the email or the onboarding chat that they did, where they talked about that, how you might actually experience worse symptoms at first, like things might get worse for you before they get better. And that definitely happened with me. That, like I said, that first period that I had after I started taking this, I had terrible cramps. Mind you, I rarely even have cramps anymore, but they were terrible that month, or that cycle. But I will say that was the only one that I had like that since I've been taking this product. So it's possible that if you have worse symptoms, you might experience that maybe for a couple cycles. But in my case, it was really just that first month. My symptoms kind of went a little bit crazy, but then they seemed to get a lot better after that. In fact, I have noticed that I'm not nearly as bloated as I was before. Um, what's some other things that I've noticed? I feel like I have more energy overall, including on my period. I do feel like my blood looks better on my period, like it's more red, because typically I have a lot of dark blood at the beginning, but it looks better um on that, like the day that I have, that's because I usually have like one heavy day and usually the blood tends to be darker on that day. But I'm noticing that the color of my blood is actually changing. It's starting to look better since I've been using this product. The other thing that I do think that's important, and I can't say this for certain, um but I do feel like I need to drink a lot of water when I'm using this product. You know how you, like, you're not necessarily thirsty, but you just feel like, oh, I need to drink more. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you get the urge to drink more water. I have noticed that while taking this, and I have noticed that I have. Now, I'm also taking the Daily Harmony, so I don't know whether it's the cycle balance by itself, which I kind of wish I had just started taking this by itself. But I don't know if it's this by itself or if it's the Daily Harmony that has been helpful for me having better bowel movements. I kind of think that it's actually the Daily Harmony, and I'm actually out of the Daily Harmony. So right now I'm just taking Cycle Balance by itself. So maybe I'll be able to tell the difference, and I'll just put a note or a comment below once I see like if it's the Daily Harmony that was actually helping with digestion. But I think it was the Daily Harmony that was helping me with digestion. But the Cycle Balance definitely helps to keep the bloating down. It's helped me have a lot more energy, and a more balanced mood too. I noticed that I can't really say that I have terrible PMS symptoms or that I had terrible PMS symptoms, but I feel like even with that, the duration that I'm experiencing PMS is a lot shorter. Like we're talking about like 2 days before my period. And even with that, I feel like my mood is still manageable right before my period. So I have noticed a lot of positive changes, or notice some changes while using this product. So I am going to continue to use it for at least another 3 months, and I'm going to let you guys know how that goes. Um, I want to make sure I covered everything in my notes. The other thing is that I like that they do is they do put this little card. I don't know if y'all will be able to see that, but it tells you what herbs are in your blend. I do appreciate that. So that way you can look up each individual herb, make sure it's something that you're okay with taking. And also, when you reorder, you can reorder the same formula. I think when you create your account, like it has, when you go in to like reorder, it will say, use your same formula. Or I think you can, I think if you want a different formula, I think you can actually take the assessment again to get a different formula. But overall, my experience with Elix has been super positive. And like I said, I think a lot of that too is, I think the two things that make the experience with Elix great is the way that they onboard, and they even had somebody check in with me a couple months, I think, into using the product, or maybe it was like a month or two into me using the product, which I really appreciate too. But I think that's a big part of why the experience is so good, is because they prepare you for how to use it. They don't just ship you some herbs, tell you to use them, and that's that. They actually follow up with you. They actually onboard you and follow up with you. And, it's always a plus to me when you have a personalized blend that's going to work for you and what you have going on. So I'm going to leave my affiliate link below. I think you get 10% off with that if I'm not mistaken. I'll put all that information below in the caption. But you guys, let me know if this is something that you try or that you're interested in trying. It's my birthday month. So I'm thinking about doing a giveaway, and so I might include something from Elix in my giveaway package or whatever. But I'll let y'all know about that as soon as I figure out the details of how I want to do that. But make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe, and if you're new here, comment below, introduce yourself. I love meeting you guys, or meeting you guys. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in this next video.